Hey y'all, this is Kim with Creative Escapades. Welcome to my channel and thank you for joining me today. Let's jump right into our video and see what we can create. I'm going to be working on this 30-ounce skinny tumbler today, and what I want to do is do a black and white stripe all up and down the cup, and how I will achieve the stripes is by measuring them off with this tape, and I'll start at the top, tape it all the way down, and then do alternating black and white stripes. So to start off with, we're going to pull off a length of tape, and I'm going to make a little tab here at the top so it will be easier for me to find the end when I'm ready to remove the tape. And starting at the very edge of the tumbler, I want to make sure that it's not above the edge of that cup. I want to go all the way around, making sure that I keep it straight. This first piece of tape will determine how straight my lines are for the rest of the cup. So I'm going to speed it up just a little bit, but you'll still be able to get the idea of how I am getting this on here and getting it straight. Just keep checking the edge of that because I want to make sure that I don't go above. I want to have nice clean lines for my glitter, and the only way to do that is to make sure that the tape lines are straight. So I pulled the tab back just a little bit. I'm going to run the edge of the tape up under, press it down, and then replace the tab part of the tape. And that sets the tone. And then my next piece of tape and corresponding pieces of tape, start with the tab, but when I go to lay them down, I want to make sure that I am butting one edge right up to the other. I don't want it to overlap. I don't want it to have any of the silver part of the cup showing. Same thing with this one. And then once I get this piece placed, I'm going to remove that second piece of tape, and thus my stripes have been set. And I'm going to continue to do this all the way down the cup. I'll put 3 on and then take the middle one off until I reach the base. And then when I get to the very last piece, then I'll be ready to start my first layer of spray paint. And there it is, all taped off. I did not tape the bottom off because I'm going to spray paint it black so that the whole base will be the same color. And I used this Krylon matte spray paint, and I sprayed it across the cup, not up and down, but across, so that any of the spray paint would not have the opportunity of getting underneath the edge of the tape. And now we're ready to start doing our first layer of resin, and we'll go ahead and start with the black and use this Alene's Tack It over and over to tack our glitter onto the tumbler. And got some of the Tack It in one cup, and I have some water in a second cup, and just using my brush I'm going to apply the tacket over and over fairly heavily, and then using my brush, smooth it out, and then clean my brush off, and then dip it into the water so that I can put a little bit on the cup and then start getting a very smooth surface for my glitter to lay down on. Making sure that I get right up to the edge and a little bit over the edge of the tape, just smoothing it out. Gonna clean my brush off and just keep smoothing until I feel like it has a nice coat but isn't glopped or have any big areas of the tacket. It will show up in your glitter lines if you have a lot of excess tacket on there, and this is not something that dries like a glue. It's called tacket over and over for a reason. So just keep smoothing it, and then we're ready to apply our glitter on the first line of it. So I got my catch paper here. Gonna fold it in half so whatever's on there I can pour back into my jar, and I just pour it on here. And then once I have it all around the cup, then I'm taking my finger and I'm moving any of the glitter off of the tape and making sure that it's pressed down as firmly as I can get it into the tacket. And that's just so that when I go to remove the tape on each side of that there's not a lot of glitter on that. First of all, it would be wasted, and second of all, I'm taking a chance of it messing up my lines when I pull the tape. So I'm going to do this all the way down. Just apply the tacket, smooth it out with some water, apply the glitter, and then make sure that it's all tapped down and my lines are defined. You'll be able to still see your tape in between there, so you'll be able to know if you have your lines pretty straight or not. And then once I have this first layer of the black glitter on there, I'm going to use a clear matte spray sealant and seal that first layer, come back with the tacket again and do the whole process over, and then seal that again. So first two layers of the black glitter is on here, and I am ready to move on to the white glitter. But first I have to remove the tape in between the black lines, and what I will do next is I will apply tape to where the black glitter is. And this is why it's important to add that second layer of sealer on there, because if you just put tape over it, you're going to pull the majority of your glitter off and kind of be defeating your purpose. So you're just going to make sure that your tape is straight on there. It's the same width as your tape. So once again, when you go to spray paint, you're going to spray paint across those lines and not up and down, because you don't want your spray paint to seep under the edge of your tape and kind of mess up your black lines there. So it's ready, and I have used the white spray paint, same thing, Krylon matte white, and I'm doing the same process with the white as I did with the black, applying the tacket over and over, using water to smooth it, and then doing my glitter lines. Spray a layer of clear spray paint, or actually spray sealant, and then doing a second layer of the white glitter seal it, and now we're ready to move our tape from our black glitter lines. And as you can see, it didn't take hardly any of the glitter off, and my lines are nice, crisp, and straight, and we're ready for our first layer of resin. And I'm using Faux Rizzle, and this is a 1-to-1 ratio, using 30 mils, which is 15 of each, and just going to start at the top and start smoothing it on there. Speed this up just a little bit because watching me wipe resin on this cup would probably get boring, but stay tuned, there's more to come. So we're going to go ahead and get this all on here, and then I will use my heat gun and just make sure that everything is smooth, and then I will let it turn overnight, and then we'll come back for the next part. Paying especially close attention to the top and the bottom edges. This is not a fine glitter. Both of them were a little bit chunky. I would not even say a medium chunk, but I do want to make sure that those tops are coated really well, and I did not have to do any sanding whatsoever on this cup, so I was so happy about that. So it's going to continue to turn, and now we're ready for our next step. So this vinyl that I'm using is HTV. It's used usually for things like t-shirts and ball caps and things of that nature. You can use it for canvas bags or whatever. And I saw that you could also use it with tumblers. I don't have a cup press, so this is going to, which I do want to get one. Those things are awesome because you can use this heat transfer with it. So I'm using my heat gun, and you can see that the HTV, once you heat it up really good, it will lay down and it will adhere to your surface of your tumbler. And I'm going to do a little disclaimer here. Even though this resin that I use is FDA food safe, so once it gets past that 72-hour cure time, it's perfectly safe. I am heating it up with this heat gun, and so I just wanted to say, if you do use HTV and you do heat your cup up, you should always wear your safety protection, your personal protection equipment. And I do have a mask on while I'm doing this. So I'll get off my soapbox now. Just practice safety is all I want to encourage you to do. So I'm using this spatula brush there to apply some pressure, because heat transfer vinyl, under normal circumstances, you're going to have some pressure by either using a press to put it on a t-shirt, or even with the ball cap press or whatever. There's always pressure applied. So you want to make sure that it is not just heated up and laying down, but you want to apply some pressure to it. And once you get it all on there, you are going to have to remove that top protective layer of, I don't know if you call it backing paper. It's actually on the front. So it's a carrier paper. And you can heat that stuff up a lot, and it's not going to melt. I did remove the bottom piece of this vinyl because I decided I wanted a different design at the very base of it. and it wasn't hard to remove. I just had to heat it up again and then just pull it off. But when I put the other one on, I actually used my iron, and it did not stick to it. Had no problems whatsoever. So, but you do have to pull that protective carrier paper off of that front before you apply your top layer of resin. And I'm going to show you how I did that. I'm going to start here on this first one and just show you. So you just find the edge of it, and it just pulls away from your vinyl. Now it did have some issues where some of it would pull up away from the edge of the cup or from the surface of the cup, but as soon as I pressed back down on it, it laid right back down onto the surface of the cup. And then I used my heat gun again just a little bit, because now you no longer have that protective layer there, so you want to make sure that you don't put too much heat on it. So here they are all applied now, and you can see right here I added another flower right here, that yellow one, and then down at the base I changed that pink one and also added a purple one next to it. If I can get my big hand out of the way so you can see the purple one right there at the base. I added that one and then changed the one next to it. So now I'm just applying the next layer of resin, and again I'm using the Faux Rizzle, and again 30 mils. And this went on so smoothly over the HTV. I wasn't sure how it was going to work with the resin. This is my first time to use the HTV, and it went great. It didn't try to lift any of the edges of the vinyl. Everything stayed right where I had it, and it cured great. So I'm going to let it turn, and then I'll bring you back for the finished pictures. Get you back into focus there. Adding a little bit of heat to pop any bubbles, and let it turn. And here she is, all finished, and I think it looks really nice. I started to do a quote on the open part where the flowers aren't, and I decided to leave it like it is and put it in my shop, and if someone wants it personalized with a name, then I can go ahead and apply the name and then do a top layer of resin over that. So I'm going to leave it like this, and don't want to add too much to it because I don't want to take away from the design, but I do think it'd be pretty with a name, maybe in gold foil on there. I think it would look really nice. But anyways, this is my first HTV, so if you have wanted to try this and haven't yet because you wasn't sure, it's great type of vinyl to work with. I enjoyed doing the stripes on the cup. It was challenging, and to me, when it's the more challenging it is, the better I like it. So yeah, if you want to try doing stripes, I would highly encourage you to do that too. So I hope you've enjoyed this little video, and if you have, please click like and share. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so. Ring that bell so you won't miss any future videos when I upload them. And if you have any comments or questions, leave them below. I love your feedback. All of that helps my channel grow, and I certainly appreciate it. The description of everything I use will be below the video in the description box. all my social medias, Etsy shop, anything like that. Or if you're interested in this cup, you can contact me. My email is below in the description box. And I want to thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you in my next creative escapade. Bye-bye for now.